damn these Biloxi blues. It happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have.
The summer heat never treats me kind. It leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
Nope.
No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, the not so live variety from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill here in beautiful southern middle Tennessee, and we are back. We are back in the bar and grill. I've been all over the dang place. We're back in the bar and grill. We're back not so live this week, and this is the podcast for Tuesday. Yes, that's right, Tuesday, May the 28th. You bunch of low-lifers, and if you're wondering what a low-lifer is, it's what you are. It's what you are now. If you weren't before you got here, it's what you are now. It's what the listeners and the viewers of this program refer to themselves as, and they're a loyal bunch of folks, and I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. My side still hurts. I might still be a little hungover from last week's show, Duncan Butts, the Duncan Butts episode with Josh Butts. Thank y'all for tuning in. So many positive comments and feedback coming in after whatever that was. I don't know what we did. I love me some Josh Butts, and I like in-person podcasts. They're always they take things up a notch for sure, just because it's just random conversation, especially when you have the ADD mind that I do, and as well as Josh Butts. And lots of requests for Duncan Butts Part 2, and I can tell you that it will return. It will be back. It will be back. We got to figure out a time that works for the both of us, but we will definitely do that again very soon. I had a fantastic time. And, man, sometimes there's just so much going on in this whole world, whether it be my life, my work, my business, so many things that it's good just to cut loose, right? And that is what we did, and I appreciate all y'all and the kind words on that episode for sure. And if you haven't watched it, it's 3 hours long. Take your time. There's a lot to consume. The only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, you bunch of low-lifers. So hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. I thank you to everybody that has sacrificed to make that possible. I know that is the root of the holiday. It's more than a long weekend. You see a lot of people post that, but it is indeed more than a long weekend. But it's always been a special weekend for me in my life, just because it is that kind of summertime kickoff. As fishermen, boaters, we're always out there. We're crazy. We're out there when it's snowing and whatever. But it is kind of that kickoff. And I can remember as a kid taking that long weekend and spending most of it on the river, or floating a creek, going camping with my buddies, going smallmouth fishing in southern middle Tennessee. So many different trips that revolve around fishing. And I was grateful this weekend I got to go to Guntersville. I've been real quiet on social media. I've been just busy as hell, but went to Guntersville with my 2 boys there, Hudson and Ryder, and we rented a house over there. And man, I love Guntersville. First of all, it's my favorite lake. As crazy busy as it is, as crazy as it gets beat to a pulp, I say it's the best lake in the country year in and year out, based on the pressure it receives. I know there are places that get higher accolades sometimes and different things, but for the amount of baits that those Tennessee River bass see, Guntersville kicks them out, and it's fishing extremely well right now, as good as it has in a long time for numbers and big ones. And man, we had a hell of a trip over there for 3 days. gonna be honest, I've been running so hard. We didn't fish just daylight to dark for 3 days. We took 2 or 3 hours here, 2 or 3 hours there. But dude, it was fantastic, and caught them doing a little bit of everything from the ledge deal, which is my favorite. But it's a little, especially on a holiday weekend, it's a little crowded. It's a little crowded. People they like to idle right by you now. They like to just graph right on top of you. I'm not a fan of that. I'll throw daggers your way. You could go be like, man, I'm the biggest slow lifer in the world. I will still cuss you out if you idle over my line when I'm fishing somewhere and I've been there for a minute. I don't roll that way. I would not do that to anybody. And my God, man, there's a lot of that goes on these days on the water. And I get it, holiday weekend or whatever. And dude, I'm also the kind of guy that, like, I might invite you in to catch some if it's going down, but don't just be a freaking jackass. And that, man, that happens so many times, and trying to sit on stuff, and nothing's a secret. It's not about that. It's more about just courtesy, and we've lost a little bit of that in bass fishing, to say the very damn least. But anyways, all that aside, caught them offshore, caught them on a topwater. Caught them skipping docks with the LOB jig. I know I say that thing all the time. Say it all the time about that thing, but it gets bites, and we caught big ones doing that on the old Hot Pocket color, 3/8 Hot Pocket. And the cool moment for me was Ryder. I got to catch them doing that, and they were skipping. Ryder can skip. He's 13. He can skip really good. He's been skipping frogs, skipping chatterbaits since he was like 7, 8 years old, man. Like, it's something he saw me do years ago and asked me to teach him. And he really, now he'll still blow up a reel, don't get me wrong, but he's gotten to be pretty damn good at it. And he was skipping a chatterbait around yesterday, and I got to catch some on the LOB, and he said, Dad, I want to learn to fish a jig. And I was like, oh man, did I just shed a tear? Oh boy. Yeah, just that was a moment. Another cool moment I have to share with all you dads out there, especially coming up on Father's Day, we're not too far off, is we put in at Guntersville, and we had a house there on the lake not far away from the boat ramp. And they've been doing this the last few trips we've taken where we've had a house on the lake, but I take the truck and trailer back to the house and turn those two loose in the Express X21 Pro. And you're like, oh my God, how did we get here? How did we get to the point where these kids have grown up so much that they just know everything about the boat, man. Everything about the boat. But very special weekend, and it's been kind of a rough go around here. And I share a lot with y'all, but I'll share this. Hudson in particular, he's 16, he'll be 17 in October, was playing high school basketball. He has given every moment, really, of his life to basketball for the last few years. Works out all the time, practices harder than anybody I've ever seen. One of the most coachable kids. You hear that from a lot of people. And he had a team meeting up here, and got cut from the basketball team, and very unexpected. The last thing we anticipated hearing this summer for sure, because last year got to play a lot. And, things happen, small town. I'll never understand it, but listen, I don't see life through a daddy lens. I'm not that guy. I'm the work harder guy. If you're not getting playing time, or you must have done something, I'm that dad. My dad was the same way. And, never understand it. And he was very upset. He was devastated. Didn't really get it explained to him why he was cut. And so it was kind of a rough week around here, man. And the cool thing for me, though, was he said, well, at least I won't have to waste my summer to not get to play if that was going to be the case this year, and I can go bass fishing. And he started asking me about, because we've never got to do high school tournaments, anything like that, because of his involvement in school sports. And he's like, I'm ready. I think I want to start doing that. He's been asking me about colleges that have fishing teams and scholarships and things. And even if he never does that, even if we never do that, it's pretty cool that he's kind of thinking that way. And so you turn a negative into a positive, and, it is what it is. I've got a lot more I could say that I'll refrain from saying on this fishing podcast about that, but very proud to spend some time with those two. I got to I traveled like crazy this week, and I ended up down in Florida for a couple days. After that happened, I had to go to Florida and leave him and the fam, but I ended up down in Florida. I got to go to the Arc Rods headquarters. Shout out to Louie and Justin at Arc Rods for having me and Todd Hammond down there. And then I got to go to the Bahio Sunglasses just headquarters there in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And man, I don't know that I've ever been more impressed with a facility in my life. Arc was fantastic. They're very busy. They're doing a lot of cool things on the horizon. But I got to witness how these Bahio sunglasses are made. And I'm a nerd about things like that. But I'll just tell you right now, if you're thinking about buying anybody else's product out there, and there's a lot of great sunglass companies, don't get me wrong, but dude, these are all by hand. It was so crazy to me. They're cutting the glass lenses. You can put any lens that they make in any frame, right? That's their deal. And they build them all by hand. They cut the lenses by hand in there. And dude, it was really, really fun to go there and check that all out. So shout out to Sean Kelly and the Bahio crew for hosting us as well. But I just got to throw that out there because it's just, I'm mind blown by things like that. I'm watching someone by hand file away, polish a glass lens before they put. Every pair is like that. Every pair, man. Every pair. So very cool. That was some woods to water business down there. Also had a little bit of Southern Boating business down there. Southern Boating Supply business we did as well. Getting ready to launch the Southern Boating Supply website as well on June the 5th. It's kind of a soft launch of our new website, but you're actually going to be able to get you some Southern Boating Supply gear very soon. Fixing to put some of our new products on there. Things are happening. It's a good time. So appreciate y'all for just supporting everything. For supporting everything I got going on. It certainly it means the world. Huge shout out and congratulations to my man Jordan Lee, on his big win at Heavy Hitters, his second Heavy Hitters win. He leaves for the Elite Series and comes back and takes a little bit more of that MLF money. And it was in big fashion too with the Frog. Some amazing. I unfortunately did not get to watch a ton of live, and Stupid Dumb Darian was blowing me up. He's like, dude, I've watched more bass fishing this week than I have in years. This is incredible. I got to see clips. I know there was drama. There was hole jumping. There was all kind of things going on, which, as I mentioned about Guntersville, it happens all the time, whether it's on a dadgum Saturday and you're hanging out with your kids, or if you're in a big Major League Fishing event like that. People suck. The rules, the unwritten rules go away these days. That is for sure. It certainly seems to happen. But shout out to Jordan Lee. He put speaking of rods, he put his Signature Series rods through hell. Some of the clips I've seen, and caught them all on the old Frog. Available Baitworks, no doubt. Bait-works.com. Jordan Lee cracking on them though. It's so much fun. Keith Poche about ran him down on that final day from what I understand, but so much fun. Randall Tharp kind of gave a sign off farewell on air too. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. And he talked a little bit about about integrity and the guys that do things the right way versus some of the stuff that's happening right now out in the bass fishing space is concerning, to say the least. And it's going to be wild to see where all of it's going. And that's kind of the theme of this episode. So before we jump into our guest, which I'm very excited to have on, let's thank some sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Fish Tips, the folks at fishtips.com. That's where you can get the goods. You can get the goods from pro anglers, from guides on certain bodies of water and where you need to be, what you need to be throwing, and what time you need to be throwing it. At fishtips.com, you can use code LBL10 to save money on your first tip. Fish Tips, just the tip. Gill Fishing, gillfishing.com, gillfishing.com. Go check it out. I just got, it's big hat season. I just got me a new big floppy hat from Gill. Got some new sun gloves from Gill. Go check all the things out there, and you can spend $100 at Gill Fishing. And when you do, and you use code LBLGIFT, you will be rewarded for being a low lifer. And that is pretty daggum awesome. The gift right now is a Voyager backpack, but it's fixing to change. I'm not sure. We got me and the Gill crew got to get together on what the new gift is going forward. But right now, LBL gift, spend $100 at gillfishing.com. Pro Guy Batteries, ProGuideBatteries.com. I'm going to make this brief, but I fished 3 straight days on Guntersville. Had electrical issues at the house we stayed at as far as running an extension cord to my boat. Did not charge my batteries in 3 days. I know people say that a lot. I'm running 2 36-volt trolling motor batteries, lithiums in parallel, and 2 lithium crankings. Never missed a beat. Never missed a beat. My electronics yesterday showed 13.7 after 3 days. ProGuyBatteries.com is where you can find them. LBL10 saves you 10%, lets you know they're a lets you know you're a low lifer, and I promise you they are the juice. Baitworks.com, bait-wrx.com, Duncan-10 saves you 10% on that LOB jig and everything else on the site. Maybe you want some of those Berkeley Swamp Lords. Maybe you need some of those Toad Thumper bad crawls or crawl gills. I've been using that crawl gill on the back of the LOB jig, and I promise you it is a fish catcher. They got them available at bait-works.com right now. Duncan-10, Bait-Works. And last but not least, hang the banner. The imaginary banner. The Bassmaster Classic winning all-welded aluminum bass boat, the X21 Pro. 21 feet of fury, 96-inch beam, fastest hole shot in the game. More tackle storage than you can shake a stick at. But not to overshadow the new H20, a new model coming out, a more affordable model that you really don't give anything up. It's 20 feet, 175 Yamaha show on the back of that bad boy. Tons of storage. Go check it out at your local dealer. ExpressBoats.com. Got all the information you need. Express Boats, building excitement since 1966. All right. We've got a, let's see. I feel like I need a cheating scandal. It's actually not a cheating scandal. It's been handled and it's been talked about, but we're going to talk about it right now, amongst other things. The folks from Sealy Outdoors will be joining us today. They've been in the business for 40 years. Bob Sealy is a hero of mine in this old world and this sport. He's been like a father to me at times, and we're going to be joined by him and his son-in-law, Chris Bennett. He was the original inventor, the OG on the hourly big bass tournaments that there are so many of right now, but they just had a little situation down at Toledo Bend. They were able to catch some jackwagon that had over 2.5 pounds of lead weight shoved in a bass, if I'm reading that correctly. And we're going to get the scoop. Holy crap. Ladies and gentlemen, the GOAT, the big bass GOAT, the big bass hourly GOAT himself, Bob Sealy and Chris Bennett. All right, ladies and gentlemen, low-lifers of all ages, as promised, here's the Sealy Outdoors crew, Mr. Bob Sealy himself and Mr. Chris Bennett. And I can't thank y'all enough for doing this. I've been knowing y'all a long time, and we've been needing to do this. So welcome to Low Budget Live, Not So Live.
Man, let me tell you, it's quite an honor to be on your show.
Well, Bob, you've been knowing me a lot longer than most of the people that listen to this show, so you could probably tell them some secrets they don't need to know. So we need to keep that.
I really want to go there.
I don't know that we do. I
hear you.
what happens at the stump stays at the stump.
Oh, listen to you. I hear you, buddy. I like the way you think.
Listen,
I hold away from home.
No doubt about that. That's bass fishing mecca, and you're the mayor out there. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, listen, man, Bob Sealy is the mayor of all of Sam Rayburn, and I don't care. I will fight whoever in East Texas wants to argue with me on that, as long as they're not as big as Chris.
Indeed he is. Yeah, I hear you.
Well,
I tell you, I really wish you could have been here back in April.
Listen, I know that was a party, the 40th anniversary. I know it's got to be hard to even wrap your mind around. I was at the 30th, and I believe I was at the 25th and the 30th, and there are people on top of people, on top of people, on top of people trying to win all that money. They're watching music. It's like the first time I ever came out there, y'all are bussing people. I don't know where you found all of them. They're bussing people out there to the Humphreys Pavilion there. And if you've never been to a Sealy's event, especially at Sam Rayburn, they're all fantastic. But at Rayburn, it's a spectacle, Bob. Like talk about how you got to where you're at. Because I know you and I've talked before. Back in the 80s, you struggled, right? Financially, went from filing bankruptcy to becoming one of like the bass fishing Hall of Fame superstars, in my opinion.
Well, we've all had our ups and downs.
That's right.
I years ago, of course, I was in the cattle business, and then got into real estate. Next thing you know, I'm into fishing, and which I have a passion for, as you do, and my whole family does. So we really, we thought a long time, and all this. Ray Scott, he, I give him so much credit because without him, none of us would be doing what we're doing today.
No doubt.
Boy, I sure miss him.
No doubt about it. What a great man. And I have compared you many times to him, though, because I've seen you on that stage. I've seen what you've been able to do. It was said about Ray Scott that he can make people dance. Bob Sealy, I've seen you make people dance. I've seen you make people cry. I've seen you. I've seen it all on that stage. Yes, sir, you have. How did the idea, because I don't know that you and I have ever talked about this, but hourly big bass tournaments are all over the place. But you were the inventor.
I'm going to turn the clock back 49 years ago. My wife and I fished on the circuit with bass back in the early 70s. Of course, when there wasn't any money, as you well know back then. And, things have changed an awful lot. But I always envied what Ray Scott did. But I knew I couldn't compete with him. And Donna and I, my wife and I, we kind of sat down and I toyed with some ideas. And I said, I've got an idea. I said, but because there's a lot more amateurs than there are pros. And she said, well, you got a point. And I said, well, I want to do a different concept. I like a one fish concept. And she looked at me and said, one fish? I said, yeah, well, let's pay so many places per hour. And then the biggest bass overall will win the tournament of a 1 day, 2 day. We only started with a 1 day deal. And the entry fee was like $25. So I took my concept and got with three radio stations that were owned by Dick Osberg and Rusty Reynolds here in East Texas and Longview and up in Lake Charles. And I gave them the idea, and they loved it. So we actually started at Lowe's Creek on Toledo Bend on the Texas side. We did that for 5 years. It was my concept, but it was their tournament. And then eventually I got to the point I said, I can do this on my own. So I talked to Rusty and them, and they said, just include us in. And that's exactly what happened. And it all began really out of a travel trailer and a pair of meat scales. That's how we weighed fish, stuff like this. And it was amazing. I had my corporate sponsors back then were, I had Skeeter Boats and I had OMC, but, not on a tournament level, as far as me promoting an event and stuff that they're involved in. They just sponsored me during the BASS, fishing and other tournaments. But, it got to the point to where at Lowe's Creek, the deal was kind of growing. And then I got involved with a friend of mine that owned a franchise. And so actually, a lot of people don't realize this, but it was really Burger King the first 2 years.
No kidding. Because I was going to ask how McDonald's came about, because I know that was a very, very big deal for you and the Ronald McDonald Foundation and all that. But so Burger King originally.
Yeah, Burger King was the original, starting out. And then the thing about it, the individual that I worked with owned the Burger King franchise. But he started doing some things on the side stuff, and I really didn't want to be affiliated with it, so I bowed out. And what I did, a franchise owner of McDonald's by the name of Jack Schwartz called me and said, hey, I hear you're not going to do the McDonald's tournament anymore. The Burger King tournament. I said, nope. He said, well, I'd be interested in it. So we had lunch Donna and I, and Jack Schwartz and his wife, Suzanne. And I sat down and I kind of laid it out the program. They liked the program. But he had one deal. He said, I want to benefit the Ronald McDonald House. Well, Donna and I didn't know anything about the RMH house, but he set up a meeting for us to go to Houston. Let me assure you, that trip was worth every penny. Fuel costs and all like this, because I was absolutely amazed, and Donna was blown away as well. It's a house that love built, and they take care of kids' families while the kids are being taken care of catastrophic diseases at nearby hospitals, and it doesn't cost the parents hardly anything. You know, and that's when you see something like that, and you see smiles on their faces, and you know, it really hits you. And so that's how it kind of began. I became a licensee at McDonald's, and got our corporate sponsors involved. On the third year, I guess I probably set a record. The first year that we did McDonald's, we had 494 entries, and we only guaranteed $10,000. Second year, we went to 697 entries. And then I got this brainstorm idea of getting up 2 boats. I got 2 engines from OMC. And so we kind of did a surprise deal. But we gave away 2 boats, rigged out with OMC Johnson and Evinrude engines, Evinrude trolling motor. We had back then, I'm not for sure who our battery sponsor was. AC Delco, excuse me. Yeah, AC Delco was involved with it. Anyway, we gave that away, and we went from 697 entries the second year to 2,237 entries
in year 3,
the third year. And it just blew us away. I knew right then that I had something that could possibly even grow bigger. And when other McDonald's owner operators started hearing about our Raven event, they started calling me and asking us, well, put on one in Eufaula, Oklahoma, or put one in Hot Springs, Arkansas, or let's go to, Grand Lake in Oklahoma. And it really just kind of snowballed. And that's really kind of how it built. We broke a lot of records. Our 25th anniversary event, that was the first year I guaranteed $1 million payout. One fish, $250,000. And Donna came up with a deal where amateurs win like the pros.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Kevin Van Dam came there and presented the trophy to the winner.
I remember.
5th anniversary. That made the statement, where amateurs win like the pros. And of course, we had Neil McCoy there, did a concert, and we broke every record. Attendance-wise to an outdoor fishing event ever, other than Bassmasters Classic inside a Coliseum, we had over 30,000 people there that Sunday. And it was just amazing. You were there, I think.
It was a spectacle. It was a spectacle.
You even performed.
I did sing, and half the 30,000 left is what I remember. They all turned their backs on me, Bob, and then they came back when you gave away a boat.
Yeah, you and my son, Tim.
That's right.
My son's a musician.
Yeah,
I've been a outstanding job, but I tell you, that was an exciting deal, and we drew 7,552 anglers from 46 states and 7 foreign countries.
Amazing.
That's amazing, and it's still today the biggest bass tournament ever held in the history. Now, and I ain't done yet, though.
No, I'm not. Listen, I know that. I know that about you. There's no telling what's coming next. And I think when you hear those numbers, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, I need you to understand. Do some quick math on if that's just 2 people per boat, how many bass boats that is out there chasing these little green fish, hopefully big green fish, to win some of that Sealy money, because it is astonishing to me that thousands and thousands and thousands of people show up to fish for bass. And like you're saying, 46 states. I've met people. I've made friends through you guys through that event, people that would show up with all their buddies. It's their yearly trip. They make the
Absolutely.
they make it the pilgrimage out to Sam Rayburn, to Big Bass Heaven, to fish that Sealy event every single year. It's too cool. And to know that you've been doing it for 40 years is pretty stinking awesome. But what's the biggest bass that's been weighed in over all the years? I should know this, but I don't know this, Bob, and I know you will.
There was a 1324 that was weighed in at Lake Fork that actually won it, but we still have the record of the biggest bass ever weighed in a tournament period. Weighed 15.64 pounds. Unfortunately, he had to get disqualified.
Okay, I need the juice on that. Was it?
Yep. Well, rules are rules. Mine's a black and white, and there are no gray areas. Matter of fact, I think Chris can attest to that. Matter of fact, Chris, my son-in-law, he's kind of out of training. He's doing a hell of a job. And of course, last year, as you well know, I couldn't make it to Guntersville.
Yeah.
I'll be there this year. But Chris did an outstanding job. And the thing about it is, I'm very blessed. We have the best staff there is. There's no ands, ifs, buts about it. Been with us for years and years. And matter of fact, we'll just I'll lead into a little incident that
what there was an incident. What are you guys talking about? There's not incidents in bass fishing. There's no incident.
Brought it up.
Everything just happens. Everything happens like it should all the time, right, Chris? Everything just
like it
goes
should.
as planned.
Exactly right. Well, since Bob brought it up, Luke, we have a lot of rules in our tournament, and a lot of those rules are for safety, and a lot of them for integrity. And unfortunately, we had an incident last weekend that broke all of our rules, and a guy brought in a weighted fish. It was manipulated by lead weights, and of course, we never wanted to see that. But after the walleye incident, we had to somewhat prepare ourselves for if that ever happened. And as Bob said earlier, I just can't brag on my staff enough that they, this happened at the very end of an hour, at the end of a long day, a night that we didn't have electricity, and we ran generators all day long, and everybody was tired. And it was, I guess if you were going to cheat, it was the right time to do it, but there's never a right time to do it. And I'm really proud of my bump man for taking notice, and more proud of my weighmaster and our ladies involved that took the proper protocol and not making a scene. And we done things the best we knew how to do. And unfortunately, a man made a bad choice, not a mistake, but a bad choice. When I heard a song earlier, everybody talks to God, and you're going to talk to God, and I'm going to talk to him someday. So we're not here to prosecute. We're just doing what we know is right. And that's about all I want to say about it, brother.
On that point, though, I do have to ask. Because now look, in the South, when that walleye thing went down, every redneck I knew was like, "Boy, you let that happen to the boat ramp down here, I'll tell you what's going to happen, boy." So that's why it's important to keep it quiet, correct?
And Luke, I read every one of those comments, and I knew what not to do.
Exactly.
I knew what not to do.
So
we have to hand it to our staff because they were right on top of it immediately. And Chris called the authorities, got them there, and things are now in the authorities' hands and stuff, and they'll take care of it. It's a felony, unfortunately, but he'll never be able to fish another one of our events.
Or any other event, hopefully, and I'm sure that'll be the case. That'll chase a guy. And look, that's not a fisherman, right? Like, we all love to catch bass. We're there for the right reasons. Yeah, to me, if you're willing to do that so blatantly, and look, if what I read was correct, and I won't hold you to the details of it and some press release stuff, but I bet when it hit the bump take, it said thud. It wasn't hard to figure it out.
I have our bump man here to contest to that, but I would imagine so. He was, I read his body language all throughout the day. And, we have pretty good chemistry, and I knew immediately we had a problem. And,
wow.
And Luke, a lot of people outside the fishing industry, I've read some of the comments. So, man, what's the big deal? The guy cheated. He didn't hurt anybody, you know. And well, you're right. Maybe he didn't hurt anybody, but let me tell you, and I'm gonna say this: when you watch that 8 or 10-year-old kid walk through the line and he's smiling near your ear, and he's paid that $300 entry fee, or this is a true story, or you watch that 83-year-old man pull up at 5 o'clock in the morning in his minivan with his zip codes in the back, and he fishes off the bank for 3 days,
hoping for just one bite that could change his life.
And that man that I'm describing, he won a brand new Phoenix boat at our 40th anniversary. Check us out on our webpage on Facebook.
That's amazing.
You can see it for yourself. Those are the people that I see one after another. And so, yeah, it's pretty personal. We want to keep it as fair as we can. And
it's not that we can, we're going to. You know, our rules, like I said, black and white. There's no gray. And the thing about it is, it's our credibility. It's our, you know, we tell people we are going to do something, we do it. That's the reason why I'm guaranteeing total this year with all 5 events, $2.8 million. Nobody in the amateur fishing industry or fishing industry that I know that guarantees that kind of money. So,
unreal.
Guess what? We ain't done yet.
Not done yet. Well, speaking of not done, you know, you guys are Texas through and through, and you do the Toledo Bend thing and the Rayburn thing and the Fork thing, but you do expand out of there. And I've been to your event in Guntersville many times, and you're fixing to do it again here in a couple of weeks. Just coming right up June 7th, 8th, and 9th at Guntersville. And I said in my intro, I've been over there this weekend with my boys for a few days, and Guntersville's fishing as good as it has. It never fishes bad, I don't think. It's not fair. It's like Rayburn. An off year at Rayburn is a great year for most lakes, right? Like it's the same with Guntersville, but it is fishing fantastic. Y'all are going to hit it right in the chin, I guarantee you.
Well, you know,
tell folks
so
about
$148,050 just in hourly payouts. That's $1,500 for the biggest bass each hour, all the way down to 215th place. And then you catch a 300, 40, or a 500 exact weight each day, that's worth $1,000. And then there's 2 optional bonus deals. We have what we call our insurance deal on the odd hours, which is 7 to 8, 9 to 10, 11 to 12, 1 to 2 each day for $5 extra. We pay 2 additional places, 16th and 17th. And then the other option is our t-shirt bonus hour, 8 to 9 and 12 to 1 o'clock hour each day. The heaviest bass each hour is $1,500. You bought the shirt, you win that hour that we paid the t-shirt bonus, you'll get $3,000 instead of $1,500. Not bad for a $20 shirt. And the shirt looks good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know who's probably behind designing that shirt. I'm sure it looks just fine, you know.
About as good as that one standing behind this camera right now.
Hey, look, it's not too late for them to go online and register. That's Sealy Outdoors, SEALY outdoors.com. Now, we're going to cut it off Tuesday, the week of the tournament at noon, as far as online registration. And then the other big registration day will be Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon to 8 p.m. at Goose Pond Colony, right outside of Scottsboro. That's where we're going to be. And if anybody needs information or something like this, they can call us at area code 409-698-2591. 409-698-2591. And I tell you, we hope that we get to see you there, unless you're fishing the tournament someplace.
Well, listen, I don't know if you know this or not, Bob, but I basically don't ever have a Saturday free anymore because I'm trying to be you in life and be an MC of every damn tournament in the Southeast. At some point, I signed on to do that, so I have to check my schedule. I have to ask my wife to check my schedule because I don't even know where I'm supposed to be most of the time anymore. But I would love to see you, hug your neck.
it will probably be a matter of time before you'll show up.
Yeah, you never know when I might come creeping around, Mr.
I
Sealy.
certainly hope so.
You never know. I might even wear a cowboy hat or something. I've been known to do that.
Well,
Hey,
let
I
me
got
tell
some. I got some pictures of him in the '80s where he used to wear a cowboy hat, and hey, looks sharp.
Hey, they got some pictures of me in a cowboy hat out there, and I don't ever wear one. But
well, it's that chaw tobacco that gets you though.
yeah, every now and then, yeah, you gotta. They don't call me a low lifer for no reason.
I hear you. Hey, Luke, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I also want to, tell you, we've got some great sponsors and stuff. Of course, one of them is right there in Huntsville. That's TH Marine. Our boats are equipped with TH Marine hot foot and hydraulic jack plate. We've got lithium impulse lithium batteries this year on board with us. Phoenix Boats, Mercury. We got a lot of good people that's been with us for a long, long time. And Minn Kota and Humminbird and Ram and Lake Fort Lures. And by the way, I also want to say hello out to Paul and his wife that have waterfront, tackle.
GTO.
Guntersville, and they're in between Scottsboro and
Yep.
and they are super people. They love what we do and they promote the fool out of it. They've got entry forms in case somebody just wants to pick
But
up.
you got to be Bob. Here's the only bad thing about GTO is it's been known to cause divorces. If you were a man, I was in there this weekend, and listen, man, they got so much stuff they put it on you in there. If one of the folks that works in there hands you a basket, just turn around and run because you're fixing to get divorce papers delivered. If you can't carry it in two hands, you don't need a basket. You'll get a divorce.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Hey, Luke. Also want to say a special reminder of the armed force people that dedicated their lives this holiday Memorial Weekend. And I ask that all of you say a short prayer and remember those who protected us.
No doubt. And you're enjoying a beautiful holiday with your family there, and I can hear boats running around. Aren't we great? Aren't we great to live in this amazing country where we get to celebrate with our families?
100%.
Yeah. God bless the USA, buddy.
No doubt about that. Hey, thank y'all for coming on. Love y'all, and hope to hug your neck over there at Guntersville. Thank y'all.
Hey, Luke.
Yes, sir. Chris.
To follow up with what he said, it's too good not to promote more. Each hour at Guntersville, we're paying out over $7,000 in cash each hour. Okay.
Listen, for that entry fee, it's tough to find a deal like that.
It's pretty good.
One cast, man. You don't have to catch 20 fish. You just got to catch the right one.
The right one, brother. And also a reminder, I was thinking of a situation today that happened there about 3 years ago. A man's name was called that won a brand new Phoenix boat by Bob Sealy himself. And it was during COVID. And when Bob called him on the phone, the guy told him, he said, "Well, Bob, I fished your tournament all weekend long." And Bob said, "Well, I'm assuming you did. I called your name."
You're mowing grass.
He said, "Well, sir, I'm mowing grass right now. I'll be there in about 5 minutes." He said, "You see, I don't have a boat, and I fished off the bank for 3 days." So just a reminder, guys, everybody stands a chance, and you got to be present to be there, okay? All right?
Got to be there for the show. Got to be there for the show.
You got to be present to win. That year, COVID was going on, and we didn't have it. You didn't have to be present, but now you have to be present to win that boat. And you don't want to be that guy that gets called on the phone about, "Hey, man, where are you at?" Yeah. So
right.
Be there. And also a reminder, the even weight fish each day, that's guaranteed money. Okay. So if those fish aren't caught each day, we're going to give that money away to somebody standing in the crowd. So just come to the show, hang out. We look forward to seeing everybody there, man.
No doubt
about Alabama. Roll Tide, brother.
No, hey, don't you say that. Listen, I got my go. I don't even where it's at. Tennessee, baby.
I knew it.
Go Big Orange. That's what I'm going to say.
We love you.
Okay. Love y'all. See y'all soon.
Yes, sir. We'll see you, Luke.
All right, that's all she wrote with Mr. Sealy and Mr. Chris Bennett, and I really appreciate their time, man, joining us to talk all the details. Y'all be sure to, if you're in the area, Lake Guntersville, so a lot of their events are out in Texas. You get the chance to go fish with them there June 7th, 8th, and 9th. There on Guntersville, you can still sign up right now. You can sign up at the event as well. Get on their website for more details, but I appreciate those folks. Like I said, been knowing them a long time. Grateful to have them on the podcast and get the goods right there. Thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in each and every week. I do not take it lightly, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Going to take you out with a little bit of Biloxi Blues. Don't know why my voice cracked. I'm old and gray. I ain't going through puberty, but it sounded like it did right there. Thank y'all. See y'all next week.
Ghost, well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west, north, south, wherever the wind blows. I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.